my brother, come on home.
I want to really thank you for coming out. If you're aspiring filmmakers, if you have ideas about documentaries, please let me know. I'm always open. But today I'm so thrilled that you're here to participate in Shorts at CAAM. It's a labor of love. They were getting academic requirements that they needed. And then we're going to pick another one. And then the following April, I'm going to do a string of movies on beauty and image. And these are powerful. One was featured at the Annenberg Space for Photography and is narrated by Jamie Lee Curtis and Beth Ann Hardison, who was the Dean Hardison's mom from A Different World. But she was a supermodel. She was one of the first black supermodels.
Has her own agency.
Has her own agency. So she's going to talk about, imagery and most importantly, how we're duped by photography, because we look at these images of these women and we're trying to be like them, and these photographers are elongating their necks and shrinking their waistlines and extending ball. And I'd like to point your attention to our young man in the room who helps us so much with all of our AV work. Terrell, will you come out and just wave? I know you like behind the scenes, but Terrell has done the technical. He was one of the first people to submit to Kim's films at CAAM, Shorts at CAAM. So I hope you're working on one so you have one ready for next year, right? Okay. And so afterwards, Monica, we do allow the filmmaker to do a short Q&A. So if people have questions, they may not. Sometimes they're so moved or whatever, but we like to make that choice available. So this is In Defense of Another, directed by Brian Carter and written by Monica. I'd like to get feedback from your work.
I got a question. In your in almost like your illusional transitions where you faded in and out of the reality and kind of have that appeal, was that an unusual transitional period for that to make that emotional feeling
And people
connected with the?
got that illusion that they didn't really know what the whole conversation was, that they thought that that would work better. So we actually kind of went in and when we did the second editing on it, kind of added that illusion to it. Because before you could hear the office
It's
talk.
so great.
Mm-hmm.
It's as though it really happened. This is the second time I've seen it. I came to see it.
What they did to us at work, today, and I was a part of a book club, and we would talk about the book for 10 minutes, and the rest would be what happened at work. So I thought that why not put it in a book and let people, the white people, see and read what we were thinking, and our thoughts. And so that's how the book happened. And last year, I still had books, and so I was like, okay, how can I get the book back out there? And everyone was doing a web series, so I thought, okay, let me do a web series. And Taz came on board as a director, and yeah, we just did it. Do you have anything?
That's it. I mean, she wrote these scripts. She told me she's going to turn her book, and she knows that I direct. And I was like, hey, any way I can help. It's such an interesting story about being in the workplace, not just as Black women, but just as people in general. And I thought this was like a slice of life that a lot of people can enjoy. Just the feedback that's been given so far, everyone's like, oh yeah, that happened to me. They ate my chicken or whatever it was, So we just thought, it's dramatic yet comedy, because life is funny. So
Yeah, I felt that it had to be comedic, because for people to actually embrace it, because the book is very, and the web series, but the book it's very honest, and so I thought, okay, if it's funny, then people will keep reading. So
yeah, dialogue is open comedy most of the time. So you laugh, then you'll go, and why did she say that? So that was the whole purpose of it. And I was happy to be a part of it. And that's it. So,
Any questions for Ms. Gray or Ms. Williams?
well, it's 5 episodes. The 6th is coming out this Wednesday. So we're airing. We were airing every first Wednesday of the month. Now we're airing every other Wednesday. there's 12 episodes to this.
You definitely want to come on the 30th because Issa is looking for more projects. So I think she's going to, like I said, be a pioneer in opening up this web series genre for African Americans. So
Right, yeah, she is. We both met her. I'm going to direct a couple of her episodes. So, you know, I think web series is a new genre. You know, it's like, you know, it's one of those things like when after the Blair Witch Project and everybody went and made all these independent films.
Shady,
Shaky
cameras.
And none of them worked. We all got, you know, vertigo. But I think now with web series, you have Funny or Die. You have all these different channels. Issa's her web series is on I Am Mother, and there's a bunch of other Google channels coming out specifically for web series. So it's like, you know, when you see a short, it shouldn't be a feature. Like some people try to take shorts and make them features. Like, no, certain genres should be just web series. They should be short, succinct, and then you're done, you know, and I think this is a new
Yeah, and we have kind of built, you know, with the Black web series, you know, creators, we kind of built like this community. Everyone is very supportive of each other. You know, when Unwritten Rules came out, you know, the couple Black and Sexy TV and Issa, like everyone like reached out and we all support each other. So that's
Right.
That's great. You know, no one is.
Thank you.
Oh, one more thing. Do you guys have like a strategy to bring in more traffic and bring more audience and awareness?
You are the strategy.
I know. Exactly.
It's always word of mouth. You know, that's the way it picks up is word of mouth. And then, you know, anywhere you can get coverage, she's gotten a lot of reviews.
Press and other web series, they're supporting it and, you know, tweeting about it. So it's really just word of mouth.
Yeah, it's very grassroots.
And, yeah.
Good afternoon, dear fellow friends and family members. We're here at CAAM, Shorts at CAAM here at California African American Museum, which is held once a year during the month of August pretty much. And this year it happens to be the 11th and the 12th, which is a beautiful summer day. I had a wonderful time to meet some great writers, some great filmmakers, some great support network, you know, to really further this whole situation. We want you to know that you can do this as well. Pick up the camera, pick up the script, pick up your mind, get your friends together, go out there. It's going to cost a little money, but guess what? Everything is. But just have some fun. Until next time, within the shadows of Belize, your boy right here, Clyde Gillette. We'll see you later.
Thank you so much. Next, short is A Change of Pace. It's a documentary, and it's by Clyde Gillette, and it's called Within the Shadows of Belize. And the filmmaker is here, and he will have a discussion with you afterwards.
It's an anomaly of the Caribbean. A near-perfect circle of deep blue indigo set off with a fringe of coral 46 miles from the coast of Belize. The Great Blue Hole is a marine wonder that's been fascinating explorers above and below the sea for years. In 1972, legendary oceanographer Jacques Cousteau brought his boat, the Calypso, into the hole and his cameras down into its mysterious waters. What they found was a unique underwater cave that plummets over 400 feet to its floor. Suspended along its walls are huge stalactites and rock formations, usually seen only on dry land.
Well, because I'm actually rolling, I wanted to bring you up to speed to exactly what this project entailed for a fellow Belizean. That's Belizeans in the house. Thank you for coming. I returned to my homeland only to find it in a state that the American Crips and Bloods have gravitated to the youth to a point that is stifling everything around me. And the world sees Belize as this warning sign as do not travel to Belize because you can get robbed or killed. And these shadows that I was able to interject into this documentary were those people who are less likely to be at the meeting, less likely to be called upon for any kind of suggestions, but are the biggest sufferers of the fallout of all the conditions that's going on. There may be a few in the community are perpetrating around the whole country. In this particular documentary, their testimonies were that we understand that we are at the end of the ropes, but we are not so far at the end of the rope that we have not relied upon faith and hope to see us to tomorrow. And with that, a Green Day arises where they're looking for a green opportunity with its eco-friendly environment, offers a great solution for employment that have not been optimized. So in exposing within the Shadows of Belize, I'll also prepare myself to interject a green outreach program to combat that type of altercation with the jobs and the means to become more Americanized while we all live in Belize. Is there any questions that you guys may have thought to be curious to just pose to how? Yes.
I'm curious about, like, when you talked about the, green economy or agricultural economy at the schools with the kids, kind of what was their reaction to that? Like, after they're going to school to, have some job, and what was their reaction to you kind of bringing up?
Well, one of the things that Dr. Schmidt spoke about, the gentleman in the Toledo district, which is the largest population of Mayans in Belize, is that it's not being optimized. The city is in a stronghold where that information is not being fed into the community because it's being overtaken by the American ways, the things that they feel that they need to have. It's a resetting of the clock, and that's outreach towards creating a solution as opposed to me just showing the problem that Belize have. I'll offer the green economy as a way to look for that as a way that the global community will receive them a lot more better with support because they're trying to protect the eco-environment in Belize, the largest living coral reef, second to Australia in that hemisphere. The mass amount of tropical delights is still there, and an indigenous population that is living off the land. Once those things leave, Belize will be a desert. So to create those things, that's where my part 2 comes into that I'm currently working on to bring about those green and sustainable efforts.
Right. I was just curious about like how the children at the school react. Like, what were their reactions to those ideas?
In the Belize city, they're very open to that, but they still need the roads to be able to connect that. But in the Toledo district, where it's still indigenous, currently we have right now, we call them a green patch of hope, where we have the Mayan children are now becoming the largest collectors of recyclable products that are being, that tourism are bringing in wasteful. So they have started their own collective unit to be able to offset those damaging effects that waste can bring. So it's slowly interjected, and hopefully you'll be able to grow on part 2, the transition, which is basically where green magic comes into play. So it's a connective series of events. I currently sold this, UCLA purchased this project that is now housed in the research library forever. So at any given time in an institution where they receive it in this manner, they want to use it as a marker to be able to move into that direction. So it has been very well received. Yes?
So when you say indigenous, and you're saying Mayan, that's the people that were there before the
Correct.
Africans were brought there?
Correct. The original Mayans, in which there are 2 sections of Mayans. There are the original Mayans, and then there are the Mayans of the Indians and blacks, the Mopas, I believe, if I'm not correct, the terminology of the actual name. So there are black fused with the Mayan Indians and bring a whole demographics into Belize. In that region, the black Afro influence in that whole Central American region has been very impactful and is not really shed a lot in how influential and how impactful we have been in keeping that region and all our contributions that we have.
There's a very large Belizean population in the LA area. Have you reached out? Some of them do very well. Have you reached out in terms of some networking support or initiatives with the ones who've been here several generations and have acquired or amassed resources and wealth?
Well, LA being the largest population of Belizeans outside of Belize, I have indeed interjected myself back into as being one of those small voices that collectively, at the end of the day, become a large voice with everybody coming on, to be able to show myself. So there are hidden Belizeans here who are probably buried in the city and not really at the point where they're showing those things they may be able to change and start the dialogue to change, bringing awareness, because nobody really talk about the shadow people in Belize and the condition. We know it happens, but it has never been brought to a global stage until UCLA brought it into an international region to kind of start it off with the student body as opposed to those changes that come in the future. You know, it's going to take time for those things to happen, and you know, by the small things that are happening right now with these little small things, I'm using the cinematography and the screen as being a teaching tool as well to be able to assist those things, so we are more conscious about when we read a Belizean and how can I help you? How can I be able to help someone back home for you, as opposed to not be mindful that you're a Belizean and you may have some problems back home. So it has really been a good fight for myself to create those continuous dialogues. And I don't have all the answers, but I know that I have to do something, you know, to really tell what's going on back home.
You have a great voice.
Oh, thank you.
One more.
Was it a creative choice to put some of the people being interviewed in the shadows, or were they afraid, or what was the?
Definitely fear. Fear played a great and important role with that. When I walked into a yard to film, they said that you're not going to be here after the film, so it kind of changed my plans, and this is how the title Within the Shadows became the more prevalent form of that, because they were less likely to speak in real life. But when I suggested, let me cast your shadows across something that's been dilapidated or torn down because of the social concerns, there was 75 people, all from mothers, fathers, grandparents, and youth, and still cripples. They all lined up to be able to really shed their concerns to reach someone. You know, they need our help. So this is a form of kind of creating that way before any revolution is more death is not needed. You know, we need some solutions. So thank you for the question.
So you're going to be around at 3:30, right? So
Yes, I'll be
if
here.
you have more questions, Clyde will be available.
Thank you again.
Thank you. And thank you for the medium of documentary film. I like to give a shout out to Michael Michael Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really think he heightened the genre of documentary film. And a lot of people, they want to do, you know, the features, you know, the stories, which are beautiful, but documentary film is becoming so important now as film becomes the modern literary genre. You know, people are introduced to literature now through film more so than through actual reading. So I'm glad that these documentaries are taking hold in our culture. So thank you, Clyde, for that.
Thank you.
So she'll lead a discussion, then we'll open it again to the floor. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. We'll come.
Web series. I'm sorry, Miss Natasha Tash Gray and Miss Kimberly Williams. Can you see everybody?
Well, once again, I just want to thank you guys all for coming. I had the pleasure of working with Elise through this whole process, and you know, Black cinema over the years has changed, and I feel like it's just getting better and better. We've been getting more submissions, and just like the variety of submissions, different genres, and I think it's really special. So thank you guys for being a part of that process. So today we're talking about the process of filmmaking, you know, from getting from A to Z, from the initial idea to what you guys have seen on screen today. So I kind of just want to talk about, you know, after you've had that initial idea, you've written it, and it's ready to do something, what's your next step?
I'll go first then. Very important in this line of business, collaboration. It's important to use your network and the people within your network who have the specialty that will need for you to conclude the process, and the working environment is very important to nurture, to be respectful and monitor. So that's a big part of anything in my work.
Yeah, I would have to say the same thing. I'm actually
just like, you
The
know,
recognition, though.
comedy died.